Hello everyone, I'm glad to see you on my channel. Today we are trading again on a strategy based on Parabolic Sar. Please put this video thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for seeing more useful videos for trading. Let's go! Today we are trading using the Parabolic Sar indicator. This indicator is an auxiliary tool of technical analysis. Parabolic Sar is a trend indicator. This indicator helps to identify a price reversal and warn about a trend change. Also, this indicator helps to determine the further price movement. In today's trading, we will certainly consider many situations, so be sure to watch this video till the end. It will be interesting. So guys, let's get started. In order to connect this indicator, click this button in the upper left corner. A list of indicators got opened in front of us and we select Parabolic Sar from the list. To configure this indicator, click this button. We leave settings by default. Here we can also change the color of our indicator and also make it a little bit bigger so that it is more visible. You can choose any color you like. After that, I click the Save button. Our Parabolic Sar indicator appears on our chart. How this indicator works and what is the signal for opening a deal is the moment when, for example, these points begin to appear from the bottom of our chart. At this moment, we can open a deal to increase. Also, the more confident the trend, the points begin to appear with a greater distance from each other. In the same way, the indicator works in the opposite direction. When the dots begin to appear at the top of our chart, at this moment we can open down trades. Of course, this indicator works in conjunction with technical analysis. First we conduct a technical analysis and then in confirmation of our entry point we pay attention to the hints of this indicator. You can also open deals when several points have already appeared or, for example, when there is a steady trend. Each situation is individual and needs to be considered separately. The most optimal entry point will be the moment when, for example, there is a downtrend, and with a downtrend it is worth waiting for the points on top of our chart and opening deals for decrease. It will be best to open deals to increase and wait for the point from the bottom of our chart. It is also possible to determine a trend reversal, including when the price begins to reverse from the support or resistance level. Also, our indicator will start to prompt us from this situation. Also, when the dots begin to approach directly to the candlesticks, this situation also signals that a reversal may be expected in the near future. Just at this time interval you can see all these situations. Well guys, let's start and open the first deal. Here we see the level of support. We also see that there was a good confident downside movement. The price touched this level and there was an upside pullback. And after the pullback, the price again continues its downside movement to the support level. In this situation, I suggest opening a deal for 2 minutes on the downside. I also pay attention to our indicator. It tells us that the downside movement is expected in the near future. I also think that this movement will continue to the support level because at the moment the price is quite impulsive and the price has a good potential for a decline. Also pay attention to the dots that appear. They are not even planning of approaching our schedule yet, which means that a steady downside movement is expected in the near future. So guys, let's wait for the end of our deal and see what we will get. Well, great guys, as you can see the price really continued its downside movement and we get profit. Also, this level has been broken through. Also pay attention to the indicator. We see that the confident downside movement was accompanied by our indicator. Also, the distance between the points became more and more, which in turn suggested the power of the downside movement. And as soon as this point begins to approach the candles themselves, it will signal us about the upcoming reversal. Well guys, let's continue to consider the following situation in the market. Here we see the resistance level. We also see that at the moment there is a pullback down. I also pay attention to the hint of our indicator. It tells us that the downside movement is expected in the near future. In this situation, I propose to open a deal for just 1 minute for a decrease. I think that in this situation the price will continue to roll back to the internal support level, and in this situation 1 minute will be quite enough. So guys, let's wait for the end of our deal. Well, not bad guys, the price really pulled back to the internal support level and in this situation 1 minute was quite enough. Also, this indicator suggested an upcoming downside movement. While everything is going well, let's continue and find the next entry point. Here we also see that the level of support. We also see that there was a good downside movement. The price touched this level and got into pro trade. There was a slight upside pullback, and at the moment the price continued to move forward the support level again. Price highs are getting lower and lower. There is a certain compression. I suggest opening a deal here for 2 minutes on the downside. I also pay attention to the hint of our indicator. It says that the downside movement is expected in the near future. There is also a high probability that this level will be broken in the near future. Well, let's wait for the end of our deal and see what we will get this time. Well, that's quite good. Although the price slowed down a bit, it still continued to move down. And here we get profit. The indicator also helped to determine the further price movement. Let's continue and consider the following situation in the market. Here we also have a resistance level. Also at the moment there is an upside movement. The price lows are getting higher. At the moment the price is out of pro trade. I also pay attention to the hint of our indicator. It tells us that an upside movement is expected in the near future. In this situation, I suggest opening a deal for 2 minutes to increase. I think that in the near future this level will be broken and this price will go higher. Since there is also a preload in the prices approaching this level for the second time in the last 10 minutes. So there is a high probability that this level will still be broken. So guys, let's wait for the end of our deal. Quite well, the price really continued its upside movement and this level was broken. We get profit. Also, the indicator helped to determine further price movements. Let's continue and consider the next entry point. Here we see the level of support. We also see that at the moment the price is moving confidently and impulsively down. Also at the moment there is some kind of compression and the price doesn't pull far up. In this situation, I suggest to open a deal literally for 1 minute. I think that this level will be broken in the near future. I also pay attention to our indicator and we see that at the moment it tells us that the downside movement is expected. The points are also placed with a large gap from each other. We suggest the power of the upcoming movement. So guys, let's wait for the end of our deal. Good, the price really continued its downside movement and this level was broken through and we get a great profit. 1 minute was enough for us and this indicator really suggested further price movement. Let's continue and consider the following market situation. Here we see that there was a good and confident downtrend. And we also see at the moment there has been a slight upside pullback and several points have already appeared above our chart. In this situation, I suggest opening a deal for 2 minutes to a downside. I think in the near future, the price will continue its downside movement because the support level is lower. Also, the price highs tells us about the upcoming downside movement. They are getting lower and lower. And of course, we pay attention to the hint of our indicator. It also informs us about the upcoming downside movement. So guys, let's wait for the end of our deal. Great guys, the price really continued its downside movement and the support level was broken. We get a great profit. Our indicator also confirmed the further price movement. Also, the points of this indicator began to appear at a greater distance from each other, thereby telling us about the strength of the upcoming movement. Let's continue and find the next entry point. Here we see that there is a resistance level at the top. We also see that there is an upside movement. Here, the price lows are getting higher and 2 points appear from the bottom of our chart. I think to open a deal for 2 minutes to increase. I think that in the near future, the price will continue its movement towards the resistance level, since the price has a good potential for an increase. Especially recently, the price has been moving up quite impulsively and we see 2 good green absorbing candles here. Of course, in this situation, the price is moving in waves, so now we can observe a slight pullback down, but we open a deal for 2 minutes just taking into account the rollback or the possibility of pro trade. Guys, let's wait for the end of our deal. Well, quite well guys, the price really continued its upside movement and also the resistance level was broken and we get a great profit. The indicator also confirmed the further price movement and helped us to determine the strength of the upcoming movement. Let's continue to consider the following market situation. Here we also see the level of support. We also see that there was a good downtrend here. The price touched the support level and there was a pullback up, and after a certain pro trade, the price moves back to our level. I also draw your attention to the fact that several points have already appeared above our chart. This tells us that in the near future the price will continue its downside movement. Therefore, I propose to open a deal for a reduction. We will enter market for 2 minutes. I think that in this situation this time will be quite enough. Just now there has been a slight pullback up. This is a good point to open a deal for downside. Also, our indicator tells us about the power of the upcoming movement. Dots begin to be located at a great distance from each other. And so guys, let's wait for the end of our deal. Well guys, there is a quite interesting situation here. The price pulled up even more. There was an impulsive moment, but even despite this, the price fell down again and we still managed to close our deal in profit. Perhaps the situation was influenced by some external factors and there was some kind of impulsive price movement. Well, it's okay. Sometimes it happens. Let's continue and consider the following market situation. Here we also see that there is a support level at the bottom. We also see that there is a downtrend, there is an upside pullback, and immediately after the pullback, the price moves down again. We pay attention to the hint of our indicator. It tells us that a downside movement is expected in the near future. We open a deal for 2 minutes to decrease, since the bottom row of points has already rested on our candles and the next few dots begin to appear above our chart. This situation tells us about the upcoming reversal and further downside movement of the price. And in this situation, there will be at least a small pullback down. So guys, let's wait for the end of our deal. So guys, we got into pro trade, but still the downside movement continued and we get profit. Today some market situations are quite difficult, but in any case, we still come out with a profit. The indicator tells us the correct entry points. Let's continue and consider the following market situation. Here we see the level of support. We also see that at the moment there is a downside movement. Price highs are getting lower. I also pay attention to our indicator. It tells us about the upcoming price movement. We open a deal for 2 minutes to decrease. I think that in the near future the price will continue to move down because the price here has a good potential for a decline. So guys, let's wait for the end of our deal. Well guys, good! The downside movement continued and we managed to close our deal in profit. Also, the indicator helped to determine the further price movement. While everything is going well, let's continue and consider the following market situation. At the bottom, we see the main support level. Also, the inner level is located just above. We also see that at the moment there is a downside movement. The price has already broken through the internal level and continues its movement to the main support level. We also pay attention to our indicator. It also tells us that the downside movement is expected in the near future. Also, the points of this indicator begin to appear at a greater distance from each other. In this situation, we open a deal for 2 minutes to decrease. In this situation, the price will certainly continue its downside movement. And so guys, let's wait for the end of our deal. Well guys, it's not bad. After the pullback, the internal resistance level, the price continued its downside movement again and we get profit. The indicator again suggested further price movements to us, and even despite the pullback, the price impulsively went down. Our indicator also told us about the power of the upcoming movement. So far, everything is going well. Let's continue and find the next entry point in the market. Here we also see that there is a good, confident uptrend. After a small pro trade, the price broke through this level and fixed above it. I pay attention to the hint of our indicator. I think that in the near future, the upside movement will still continue, since the price here also has a good potential for an increase. Just now, there has been a slight pullback down, and this is a good point to open a deal for an increase. We will open for 1 minute. I think that in this situation, the price will still continue its upside movement. So friends, let's wait for the end of our deal. Well friends, good! The price continued its upward movement and we managed to close our deal in profit. Perhaps in this situation it will be possible to open a deal for 2 minutes, just taking into account a small pro trade, but we are lucky and even 1 minute was enough for us. Also, this indicator helped us to determine the further price movement. Meanwhile, I already have $4,000 on deposit, so I suggest opening another last deal for today. I will find a suitable situation and we will continue with you. Here we also see that there was a good and confident uptrend. The price touched the resistance level and there is a pullback down. Also pay attention to our indicator, which tells us that a downside movement is expected in the near future. I propose here to open a deal for 1 minute to decrease. I think that the price will be falling for some time and in this situation 1 minute will be quite enough. Since it's possible that in 2 minutes the price would have already pulled back up, that is why we opened a deal for 1 minute. Still, the price here has a good potential to increase and this level is quite strong. Also, the price concerns it for the first time in quite a long time. That is why there is a good confident pullback down from this level, consisting entirely of red candles. And so friends, let's wait for the end of our deal and see what result we will get. Well friends, it's not bad. The price has continued its downward movement and we managed to close our deal in profit. 1 minute was enough for us. We also see that after 1 minute the price continued its upward movement. And if in this situation we would have opened a deal for 2 minutes, then we might have received a loss. But we are getting an excellent result. Also our indicator helped us to determine the reversal is expected. And of course the resistance level played an important role. I already have $7,000 on deposit. I suggest that we finish this because I have fulfilled my plan for today. I finished trading on this and leave the market. Also, all market situations have worked out well for themselves. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new today. A link to a reliable broker will be in the description box, which you and your team can choose for trading. See you in the next video.